Hello guys and welcome to Istanbul Park, and today we are going to be racing the Ferrari 458 GT2 car.
Yep, probably not the kind of car that you see on a track like this. However, we thought we'd take it out in Istanbul Park. It's a track that I've been wanting to drive for quite a while, but I never actually got around to it. There's a few bugs here and there. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But first of all, one thing I do want to say and really do need to compliment on this track, it really looks good.
Yeah.
In terms of visuals, the track looks absolutely fantastic. I really
Highly
liked
detailed,
it.
isn't it?
What wasn't this Bernie Eccleston's favourite track?
Yeah. In 2005 when it opened and the cars went around it for the first time. So this is a Formula 1 track and it's actually based off F1 2010. So it's a 2010 variant. But it was opened in 2005 and it was rated the best track in the world by Bernie Eccleston. Now I wouldn't personally say it's the best track in the world, but it is definitely quite a nice track. The undulation's good, the corners are really interesting, and to be honest, I haven't driven this track since... Oh, when's the last time I drove this track?
Gran Turismo times.
It wasn't even in Gran Turismo. Formula 1 Championship Edition? Yeah, I think Formula 1 Championship Edition is the last time I drove this track, and that was back in 2006.
Is this track still in the F1 calendar?
No. I think it got dropped in 2012. It was dropped. There was a good incident on this track actually with the two Red Bull drivers, or then Red Bull drivers, now neither of them are Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, coming up the back straight, which we'll be coming up to in a few moments. In fact, I'll say it then.
Yeah.
I'll say it at that point. Let's go through the specs of the track. I think that's...
So it's 3.3 miles long, 14 turns, and the record is held by Juan Pablo Montoya. I said that right this time.
In the McLaren Mercedes.
yeah.
What I will say about the 14 turns, they're all different.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of tracks have the sort of it feels the same. I watched
Sorry
you
to
drive.
cut you off. Sorry to cut you off here. This is where it happened. Right here, instead of going to the left, Sebastian Vettel decided to overtake Mark Webber, which is completely allowed, while they were in first and second place. Again, completely allowed. And then cut back across Mark Webber while he hadn't cleared Mark Webber's car. As a result, he crashed, spun, destroyed Webber's car, destroyed his own car, gets out his car, and then looks at Webber and does the crazy spinning head thinking, and Webber's just looking at him thinking, what the hell? As a result, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button, who were the McLaren drivers at the time, overtook, and then they had a fight without crashing, and they finished 1-2. So that's a little bit of history on this track, which actually every F1 fan should possibly remember. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, just going back to the turns. They all feel different.
They do.
A lot of tracks, not all the tracks, not all the corners are the same, but you get a feel of the corners being the same. But this track, I like the fact that they're all different.
I know what you mean. Some are wide sweeping corners, others are very tight, some are chicanes, some are hairpins, and some are more like street track, like very sharp 90 degree.
Yeah. You know what I like about this track is like you're going downhill then uphill.
The undulation is quite. There's a lot of blind corners in this. You have to know the track well.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, for me, 2006 last time I drove this track, I was really rusty on knowing this track. So in fact I do spin a couple of times. Once I actually spin on a lap that I was doing so well on, and I spin out on the final corner, and that was kind of annoying. But the mod itself is like I said. There you go. There's one spin. Well, speak of the devil. Let there be £1 million. No. Damn. Right. Like I was saying, so it's based on the track from F1 2010. As a matter of fact, the billboards everywhere and the signs, so like that Vodafone sign and the Allianz sign, all of them are the actual signs that were there in Formula 1 2010. So that's where this is based off. The track is made by race department user Dobster.
Yep.
And as usual, we will link it in the description box below. I don't know, this track visually looks incredible. However, there are a few bugs.
Right, we're going to see one.
One bug's about to appear.
The biggest one, and probably the most funniest one as well.
Right, literally about to appear.
Left to right, left to right, left to right.
Right. There you go.
What is
There's
that?
a man in the middle of the track.
My God.
Right we go.
Yeah.
Now, that bug's been caused by, instead of the car starting in the pit lane, the car seems to be starting in the middle of the track. So because of that, the man seems to stand there with the pit board. Now I can imagine that being rather hilarious in an AI race, because you'd have about 15, let's say you're racing 15 cars, you're going to have 15 men standing in the middle of the track, all over the place, and you'll be sort of, trying to go in and out of them at 180 miles an hour. Yeah. So that is one bug. And
nothing happens, mind you, if you just go through him.
You just no-clip through him.
Yeah.
However,
because I did try.
It is a bug. It is a bug, and it's, in my opinion, I think it's a fairly significant bug. Because honestly, you do get distracted by this man there every time. Yeah. Especially because of the draw distance, he just appears at some points. So that's one big bug.
The biggest one is the collision box, where you can just go through the walls, you can go through the cars.
Yeah, a lot of cars. You can't go through cars.
The vans.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you mentioned the grits as well.
And the
gravel. Yeah.
The gravel. When you go off track, the gravel doesn't feel gravelly. The grass feels grassy, so it's bumpy.
Yeah.
A lot of you lose grip.
Yeah. But the gravel feels like road, doesn't it?
Gravel feels a lot like road. There is still a bit of bumpiness to it, but I can just drive across it like normal. And I noticed that when I checked it after I finished this recording, I went around checking it, and that's what I found. However, overall, if you want to stick to a track, and that's the aim of it, it's really, really nice. The curbs are well built. They've got good feedback on your steering wheels or your controllers. You get really good feedback off them. So I think that's really well built. Maybe I'd say that there's a few shadow glitches here and there. I think they say that the shadows is affecting the FPS as well. So you're going to get sometimes, depending on your system.
It did feel glitchy.
There are a few moments where you see a drop, and I'm basically at this point in time, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go see how close I can get before I swerve out of the way. But you will see a few shadow glitches, and you'll see a little bit of frame loss. However, it's not major. And the creator of the track, last update that he did make, he did say that he was looking into working on it and sorting it out. So that's really, really good.
But I think that was back in September when this track was
That was back in September. So I don't know what's happened after that. If you are the author of this track, we would like to hear from you, and we'd like to know what you're going to be doing with this track, because honestly, it's really well made so far. It just needs that polishing up.
Yeah, it just needs the problem being ironing out, doesn't it?
Exactly.
The creases being ironed out, yeah.
Just for that. And for that, because of the bugs, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm
going to be slightly harsh and give it a 7.
Okay, that's,
I'll give it an 8 as well.
There you go, so...
Yeah, because I feel, it affects the race.
Yes. That is why,
true. And especially with that man, and it does take up the enjoyment out of it.
That is true. I mean, the reason I'm going to explain the reason I've given it an 8 is because I think that despite the bugs, this is visually one of the nicest tracks I've seen.
Oh, it is.
And I think that's really, really important. And he's not sort of skimped on details outside the track as well. As when we went outside the borders, we could see even the roads that are modelled around there. So it's really, really nicely made, and I think well done to him. And like you said, 7 or 8 out of 10, just because some of the bugs are quite severe.
If he sorts it out, it'll possibly be a 9.
I think so. I'd give it a 9 after that.
Yeah. Right. So should we go back? Shall we go to the car now?
I think we should.
The Ferrari 458 Gt2 car. There is a road version of it as well.
Yep, both are in Assetto Corsa.
Yep, this version is it 97 bhp less?
Yes.
97 bhp less, and there's the other spin. This is when I was on a good lap as well. You can see how
right near the finish line.
No,
it was annoying.
You'll see your friend soon. And it's lighter as well than the road car by 240, almost quarter of a ton.
Yep.
6-speed manual. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling here.
Let's go back.
Gearbox.
Yeah, let's rewind and start. 6-speed manual gearbox.
Yeah, and it's sequential. So now the thing is, it's sequential. If you have a Logitech G25, then you'll be able to switch. You should be able to switch it in sequential mode and actually use the sequential box. For anyone who doesn't have a sequential box, the paddle shifters work on this. So I've been using paddle shifters, which not ideal, but it's pretty much the same thing in a sense. The other thing we should probably mention before we continue talking about this car is it's an official car by Kunos. So, and it was released, I believe, with the LaFerrari. So that would be when this game left, or the simulator left early access. what was it? A couple of months ago.
And it costs quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not in game. In game, you can just drive for free.
But for real life, it's £280,000.
Yeah. Or $425,000.
However, I do have to point something out. As we're driving this car is no longer in production.
Why is that?
Because the road-going version of this car has been replaced by the Ferrari 488 GTB.
That looks amazing.
Which looks pretty amazing.
It looks like a miniature version of the LaFerrari.
Yeah, in a sense. I just hope it's still a rear-wheel drive.
Should we mention a bit of history about the car?
Yeah, let's do that.
It won the Le Mans in 2012, and saying that, this car has come in the same livery from that one, hasn't it?
Yep, the livery that we're using is the exact same livery, which was completely coincidental because I watched that race, but I didn't remember the livery.
Yeah, we thought, hang on a sec, this looks the same.
Yeah, when we looked at that picture, we thought, hold on, I recognise that.
Yeah.
There's something on the back as well that said, what was it?
Yeah, AF Corsa.
Corsa, that's one, yeah.
Just going slightly wide there.
And it came second in 2011.
Yep.
So they went one better the following year.
And it was involved in a nasty crash.
Oh yes,
in 2012 as well.
Yeah.
It was 2012 or 2011. It was involved in a nasty crash with Alan McNish and an LMP1 car. You can see I'm just getting as close as I can to it.
And I can't say this guy's name, but I believe it's called Giancarlo Fisichella, who's a famous driver.
So you can see from this that he doesn't watch Formula 1.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I used to.
A famous driver who owns this car, who actually decided to buy this car, Giancarlo Fisichella, is who.
Close.
It wasn't bad.
Close.
Considering when we were kids, we always called him Fisichella.
Yeah, I remember. I did as well.
Until we actually looked at his name and realised there's no H.
Yeah.
So yeah, Fisichella owned this car, one of these cars anyway. So you can tell it's for a Formula 1 driver, when they own cars generally, that means it's a pretty good car.
Yeah, it does handle.
Either that or they're being sponsored. But really, who would really buy a GT2 car?
And either they got a lot of money.
Yeah, that is true. But honestly, in terms of driving this car, I quite enjoyed it. I remember I did drive this car very, very briefly when the early access program ended for Assetto Corsa and version 1.0 came out. I drove it very briefly, and I found that the car felt wrong. I mean, okay, I haven't driven a GT2 car, but just on instinct, after driving hundreds of cars throughout the years in simulators, I felt that the car felt wrong, and the feedback was all wrong, and the sound felt wrong. I am happy to say that all of that has been fixed. The car now feels pretty right. The sound feels good, and the force feedback on this car is exemplary. It really is. It feels really heavy, and you know how I always complain sometimes cars feel they don't feel that good in terms of force feedback. They feel very light and floaty.
Yeah.
This car wasn't. This car was
when
really
you
solid.
said you always complain, I was just going to say yes at that point.
I don't really always complain, but I'm very nitpicky when it comes to things.
I know what you mean.
Left to right, left to right, left to right.
We'll stick to the left this time. But yeah, I mean, I do see where you're coming from. This car, I mean, it felt like a Ferrari, didn't it?
It really did. And okay, the noise is a little bit different. Not revving as high. I mean, the normal 458 revs are up to 9,000 RPM. This one was revving, 6,250 due to the rules. Less power. You had all those, but under it all, and under all the upgrades, you could still hear a Ferrari engine. You can, which earlier you couldn't. It just felt like a generic GT3 V8.
It feels like
now it feels like a Ferrari. Yeah. And honestly, in terms of detail,
I mean, just by looking at the steering wheel, the dashboard, and I just love
and
that.
his gloves,
the gloves as well, and the mirror. Well, can you call it a mirror?
It's a rear view camera.
It's a rear view camera. Yeah.
I don't see why you need that though. Is that because there's
to see if there's cars behind when he's racing?
There's no rear view mirror. Surprising.
No, but that's the rear view camera. That is a camera.
Yeah, but why is it replaced?
Okay, so if you have a look when we're in the outside views, if you try and look into the cockpit, there's a huge spoiler there, and on top of that, there is also a huge engine bay with roll cage all over it, so you can't see behind. And as we saw from that accident that happened at Le Mans, you need the rear view mirror.
So one thing I'm surprised you haven't mentioned is the front screen with these two bars in your view.
But do you know what though? I'll be honest with you.
What is that for?
It's a Ferrari. So you're
those are all supports.
That's just being a bit.
Yeah, I know.
But no, in all honesty, they're all different. Now, sometimes they're very thick bars. Sometimes they're very, very thick bars that get in the way.
Yeah.
But these bars are quite thin.
I think, to be honest, I'm just noticing that right now. I'm thinking, is it too much or is it
I'm just curious why it's there.
There's just supports.
I know
the support.
Yeah.
the previous cars. I mean, we've completely annihilated them when they've got. So I mean, the Ferrari isn't that far off. But
You want to be? I'll be completely honest. While I was driving this, probably because of the speed I was doing.
Oops.
I'm just getting as close as possible. Probably because of the speed I was doing and the way that you had to focus and the fact that I was enjoying myself.
Yeah.
I didn't notice them.
Yeah.
I noticed the roll cage.
Yeah, but I'll be honest.
I noticed the black
you
bar
mentioned it
on
right
top.
now. It's fair to mention, but I didn't notice them either.
Yeah, I did not. I noticed the black bar, the sun visor.
Yeah.
And I noticed the roll cage quick straight away. And I noticed the camera, and I noticed, the nice digital display on the steering wheel. I did not notice those two bars.
I just
in my
noticed
vision.
it now as well because you don't really pay attention to that
Exactly.
when you're driving.
Which is
Exactly.
weird. But the last few cars, we
We've
have
slated them.
Yeah, we've got slate. And
But I think that's because if they're slower, you tend to notice things
Yeah.
more.
Possibly.
I mean, if you think about it, if you're driving fast and you've got windscreen wipers on, you're not really going to notice the windscreen wiper. If you're going very slow or you're stopped in traffic and you've got windscreen wipers on, you'll notice every time. You'll always notice them. So
is that what noise your rear wipers make?
sometimes.
I knew that was coming.
You think the rear wipers make that noise a lot.
Oh, okay.
The front wipers are quite quiet. You use those. What do you call those rubber? The new
I
rubber
rarely
style
use the
wipers, aero
rear
wipers.
wipers.
or whatever.
Air
you?
wipers. Yeah, I do actually. I do.
I use a rear wiper.
Only when it's really dirty then.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
we're going to get back to this.
In terms of feel, like I said, this car's really, really nice on driving. Unfortunately, now I have a bit of a complaint, not with the car, but not with the car's actual physics or anything, but with the car itself being in the simulator. There are only two GT2 cars in this entire simulator: the BMW and this Ferrari. Now, what if I said Ferrari and I asked you for a rival in terms of racing? What would you say?
McLaren.
McLaren. What would you say?
Just for Ferrari? in
Yeah,
general?
just for Ferrari.
I'd say Lamborghini, but
Lamborghini don't often race,
Yeah.
but yeah, Lamborghini or McLaren. Now, there is a McLaren GT3 car in this simulator, the MP4-12C GT3. Ferrari made a GT3 version of this car. I would have rather seen that GT3 version in here, so that I could race it against the McLaren
and compare it.
than this GT2 and racing it against the BMW. I would rather that those two GT2 cars weren't in, and there were two GT3 cars in its place. Not to knock the car, because the car that's in here is fantastic, but that's just my personal preference. I would have preferred the GT3 car over this car. However, I do understand why they put this car in, being a winning car and all. It is pretty neat.
About Lamborghini, have Assetto Corsa going to obtain a license for them or no? They've got no plans for them.
I swear we mentioned this some episodes ago, that they've got the license and we mentioned all the cars.
Sorry.
You mean
I'm
Porsche?
so silly. No, because we have got the Lamborghini Miura in this.
Yeah.
No, you mean the Porsche? They don't have license
No.
for the Porsche. Is that right?
They don't have license. No one has a license to Porsche.
I totally forgot about
Do you remember? Because you asked specifically to say the last one, which was the last Lamborghini on the list.
Miura.
No.
No. Even he doesn't remember.
I can't remember now.
And let me try and copy. And the Countach.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
There we
Sorry.
go.
Yep. Put my hands up.
But yeah, so that Lamborghini are coming in. I'd like to see a GT. In fact, there are GT3 cars coming in for Lamborghini. I remember from that list, which is great.
For which model though?
The Gallardo, the Huracan as well.
Cool.
Like I said, what I would like to see is this Ferrari GT3 variant. That would be really
good.
nice. Apart from that, this car itself, I don't know. Should we rate a Kunos car? I guess we should.
Yeah,
I think we
should.
We rate
why
the
not?
mod, so
Yeah,
let's
we've
rate
been doing
these.
it. Shall I stop?
Yeah,
You know, I'm going to be different this time. I'm not going to give you a mark. I'm going to give you a school grade.
go for it.
I'm going to give it a B+.
B plus works. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. What would you give it?
I'm gonna give it a.
We're going to give you a school grade for cars and
Okay, fine.
Let's do a school grade this time. Let's see how it works.
In terms of physics, how well it's made, driving, what you mentioned.
just give the grade.
to the point. I'll give it an A.
You give it an A. I'd go in between both of you, so I'm going to use an American school grade, and I'm going to say A minus.
I thought so.
Now, the reason I'm giving that, my reasoning on that is, I feel that the physics of the car are really nice. The sounds and everything are really nice on the car. However, the car has a tendency, or I think personally, it just feels like, as a car that you're racing in the simulator, it feels a little too grippy at times, and then when you reach the edge, it just feels like it just loses all grip, and I don't like that in a car. So therefore, that's why I've given it. Otherwise, I'd give it an 8 because I think everything about the car is spot on. So really, really well done to Kunos. Then again, which car have they made that isn't spot on?
Yeah.
It's all fantastic. The best, obviously, being the Ferrari.
The reason why I didn't give it a full marks was because it feels like a Ferrari, but there's little things missing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's something, when it's like a proper Ferrari, like, you know it's a Ferrari, but by listening to it. But there's little things missing, and that's why I've given it.
I understand what you mean on that, and I'm presuming you gave an A just because it looks good, it sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think on that we'll end this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the subscribe button on the channel to subscribe to our channel and view more videos in Assetto Corsa. Hit the like button on this video and leave a comment in our comments box below to let us know if you want us to do anything specific. We'll see you in the next episode, which should be a special one.